So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name is Baron Grant and I'm wrapped to be with you for another day, another episode where we're going to discuss all things to do with weight loss and be able to talk about how you can finally lose all the weight you want to keep it off for the rest of your life. This is the challenge of everybody that I speak to all day, and today I'm particularly busy talking to people, so I've got a break in between calls and I thought I'd take a quick moment and let's have a chat about another topic. So before I do that, head to ditchingthediet.com because that's who sponsors this podcast, because I sponsor myself, that's right. So ditchingthediet.com, and you can download my new book, you can get access to my programs, and you can even book a call. Click on the top right hand button and you book a call with me, and we can go through where you're at and what changes you need to make in your life to be able to lose all the weight you want and keep it off. So today we're going to talk snacks. We're going to talk about the challenges that we see with modern day snacking, because one of the challenges, and I've spoken about this before, about things in a packet, right? How much do you eat out of a packet? Well, I want to talk a bit more detail about that stuff that we're eating out of packets that we might actually think is healthy, right? But it's not always healthy. It may be marketed as healthy because, remember, these people are just trying to sell a product, but it's not necessarily healthy. And even if there are healthy aspects in it, it's not helpful for losing weight. And they're always different distinctions there. That's the thing that you always have to weigh up. It may be healthy, but is it helpful? Now, today I'm going to go through 3 different snacks that are really commonplace in most people's households. And generally they'll look at them and think that they're pretty healthy. These are not a bad option, right? So I want to break them down a little bit as to why they're no good when you're trying to lose weight. I'm not saying these things are evil. They're not evil, but they're no good when you're trying to lose weight. So the people who are watching on YouTube, you're going to see some things I'm going to hold up. The people that are listening, I'll try and explain it as best I can. So first and foremost, I'm going to bring up this one because this is one that people always talk to me about, and they eat these and they think they're doing a great thing. And that is some corn thins, right? So just some little, you might put some butter on top, you might put some Vegemite on top, you might put nothing on top and just eat these corn thins. Now, these corn thins, as it says on here, they're 23 calories a slice, there's dietary fiber, they're gluten-free, because everyone loves the good marketing terms on the front of their products. But when we look at the nutritional value, this is where we start to understand why these are not helpful. Not terrible, but not helpful, right, when you're trying to lose weight. Because even though they're low in calories, they are an extremely high, they're very dense, I'll get my words right, they're very dense in carbohydrates. And why is that bad, right? So when we look on the back of nutritional stuff, we'll see that there's a sugar line and there's a total carbohydrates line, and the sugar actually sits under the carbohydrates generally on the nutritional value. Because all carbohydrates turn to glucose in our body, right? Now, this glucose is a fast-acting energy source, effectively. It's immediate. When we have excess glucose, that can get stored in the liver, it can get turned with the help of insulin to fatty acids and gets moved around the body, right? So this is how we get fat, right? Carbohydrates provide us with excess glucose or excess sugar in our bodies. So when we read the back of labels, or when you read the next label that you read, I want you to take note just not of the sugar content, but the carbohydrate content. And if it's high carbohydrate content, it's not a good option when you're trying to lose weight at all, even if it's spruiked as being healthy. So when you look at this, per 100 grams, these thins are 70.9 grams of carbohydrates. Now, there are some carbs that process faster in our bodies and slower in our bodies. That's not what this podcast is about today. But I want you to look at the nutritional value. And if you're seeing 60, 70 grams of sugar per 100 grams, that means it is 60 or 70% carbohydrates. Not a good option, because carbs turn to sugar in our bodies and excess stuff gets stored as fat. And we eat too much of this stuff because we're overfed and starving to death, not getting the good nutritional value we need. So we eat a lot of high calorie, high carbohydrate foods. And I'm talking fast, I'm rushing. All right, so this is one example, 70 grams of carbohydrates in this, excess sugar in our bodies that we don't need. All right, another one is some muesli bars. Now, muesli bars you would look at and you go, these are awesome, right? Muesli bars, they're healthy. Healthy? Yes and no, but also certainly not helpful when you're trying to lose weight. So for those that can't see me, I'm holding up some muesli bars. I'm just looking on the back. This is a mix pack, so I'll have a look at the Chewy Choc Chip, right? So the Chewy Choc Chip has 59 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Not sugar, my apologies. I misspoke. 59 grams of carbohydrates, right, per 100 grams. And it has, when we look at sort of pure sugars, it's 17 grams of sugar, right? So that is a lot of excess glucose that we're going to end up having in our bodies if we eat a lot of this sort of stuff, right? So we've got to be careful on eating a lot of this sort of stuff. The white chocolate one's a touch higher in carbs, but not too much. So very high in sugar still. 17 grams of sugar is a lot of sugar. And then the kick of all the extra carbohydrates that are located in this as well, because you've got their muesli, right? So obviously they're high carb foods. So that's that one. I've got another one here, Oaty slices, which is another option, just so we can look at a variety of different things. Also, lots of these things have an enormous amount of ingredients. Remember, if it comes out of a packet, it's not as healthy as if it comes out of the ground. So if it's got loads of ingredients, it's not always a great sign. I'm not saying you should never eat this stuff, but I am saying you should not be eating any of this stuff if you're trying to lose weight. Now, if we look at this, we've got the carbohydrates are 53 grams and the sugars are much higher again, 28 grams of sugar. These things are 28% sugar. That's a lot of sugar. So this is where we get found out. We end up looking at these type of things and we go, hey, that's healthy. That's a better option than a chocolate bar. Well, marginally, it is probably a better option, but that's equivalent to what my mate would say, a good of a bad. So there's not a great option there, but you want to try and turn it into a great option. So it's just a short message today. Be careful of what you're putting in your mouth, particularly if it comes out of a packet, because generally it's not going to be awesome. And if you're eating high carbohydrate foods, you need to reduce it. Here's my rule. You can eat it if it's under 10 grams of carbs and under 5 grams of sugar. If it's over those, don't touch it if you're trying to lose weight, because you'll be consuming way too many carbs and sugar. That's the message for today. It's a short one, but it's a message for today, so I can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. Have a ripper.